This video is going to have absolutely nothing to do with climbing gyms, climbing walls, climbing holds, knot tying, none of that. This is about life, death, and the resurrection of Jesus Christ. It's Easter Sunday, and I think that it's a really important message to get out there. This is going to be a personal story of mine. So if you want to go ahead and skip this video, I'll see you on the next one. But if you want to hang out for this conversation, I would appreciate it. Please comment down below, but know that I am not going to argue about my personal beliefs, and you shouldn't argue about your personal beliefs either. But if there's something that you don't understand, there's questions that you want to ask from a place of sincerity, I would love to answer those. When I was about 13 years old, I went on this camp with the church that I belonged to, and my friends and I were sitting there out in this bitter cold. It was in the middle of winter. We're high up in the mountains, and one of my friends asked me, "Sam, is this true?" Meaning the gospel of Jesus Christ, the church that we belong to, and its teachings. Well, I think that I answered that to the best of my knowledge. I think I was a little bit shy and timid in my response, though. And my response was, I don't really know. But I do know that my life and your life will be better by living by its teachings. And that is very true. I do wish that I could go back, though, and respond a little bit more confidently about Jesus Christ. And so I'm going to do that right now. I have a personal relationship with Jesus Christ. I know that he lives. Not lived, but also lives. I know that he was a real person. He suffered everything that we can go through, both physically and mentally. I think that one of the most overlooked aspects of Jesus Christ's life is the Garden of Gethsemane, where he took on the mental, the emotional pains that we will all feel, to the point where he'd sweat great drops of blood. That's pretty impressive. Impressive is the wrong word. It's incredible. He atoned for us. That means that we can make mistakes and move on. We don't have to be stuck in the past. Now let me tell you a little bit more about my friend. I didn't know it at the time, but he suffered with thoughts of suicide, and he eventually took his life. Now, I don't think that he is responsible for taking his life, because the emotional state, the mental state that you are in when you are so close to committing suicide, it's a different place. Like, I really don't feel like you can be held responsible to a certain degree for that. It's a really tough place to be in. And I think that there's actually a lot of people suffer with thoughts of suicide that nobody talks about. It's actually fairly common. Fortunately, following through on those thoughts are less common. The last time that I spoke with my friend was at high school. I had a car at the time, and my friend, he was a little younger than me. He was still riding the bus home from school. And there was something really important that I had to tell him. Can't remember what it was at this point. Doesn't really matter. But at the time, I thought it was really important. And I ran over to the bus after school, and I jumped on the bus. And he knew that I was there for him. He knew it. He grabbed his bag and he got up and he met me in the aisle. And I told him the message that I had to give to him. And then he said, "Okay, can I ride home with you?" And I was too busy in my own life to really realize what he was asking. And I had other things that I needed to do, or that I thought that I needed to do. I had other plans, which was off-roading. I was going to go play. How great would that have been to have brought a friend with me? But I declined, and I said, "No, I know you want to get home soon, and I've got other things that I need to do after school, after we leave." So he sat back down, and that was the last time I saw him alive. And I really wish that I could go back to that moment and the other moment that I shared with you and make a little bit better choice. But that's one of the great things about the atonement of Jesus Christ. We can make mistakes and we can move on. We can continue to live. We don't have to hold that guilt by ourselves. We don't have to hold that guilt. Christ has come. He came. He lived a mortal life. And he died for us. And not just physically, but emotionally. He was abandoned by his Father as part of the atonement. Heavenly Father had to turn away from him. And there's signs of that as he's on the cross. And he asks, "Where are you?" So he knows. He knows what we are going through. And I know that it's not just a good story, but he really lived. Thank you for joining me in this video and this message. If you agree with this message, please hit the thumbs up button. That allows YouTube to understand that it is a good message and that it needs to be pushed out to other people. If you're just here for the knowledge of climbing, the climbing gym industry, whether it's building a climbing gym or a home climbing wall or making your own holds, I cover a lot of different things. I'm going to be covering some knots in the future, some of the best knots that help me out in my just everyday life. Just stick around. They'll be coming out. I appreciate you staying here with me, and I'll see you next time right here on Climber Dad.